Hello all, it's Mrs. Cole here with your next Headstrong. This is week 5 of Headstrong and it's actually week 7 that we're into now since we were last at school. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm actually starting to find it quite tough this week. I'm missing people at school. Trying to keep my children and my family motivated is proving a little bit more tricky than it has in previous weeks. And we're actually having to really dig deep to keep wanting to get up, get ready, get out of bed and get on with school every day. And I'm sure some of you are also feeling exactly the same as we are in my household at the moment. And that's where we're having to really dig deep and show that real resilience and that kind of willingness to carry on, even though actually at the moment we're finding it tough. We're probably missing our family, we're probably missing our friends, we're probably a little bit bored of the people that we live with potentially. We are wishing we could go a little bit further, and even for those of you who aren't big fans of school, potentially you're really missing school and the routine and the people that you see every day. And so we have to dig deep, and it seems really appropriate to think about that this week as we go into VE Day on Friday. Victory in Europe 75 years ago today, when actually that war spirit showed real resilience, showed a country coming together to fight an enemy and to pull all together with rationing and needing to support each other, just as we are at the moment. And whilst the VE Day celebrations will be very different to how they were planned, it doesn't mean that we can't stop and remember. And also stop and remember the ways that we're being resilient at the moment. The way that we're having to still get up every day, probably still do our schoolwork, still help around the house. Maybe some of us are doing other things. I know some of Year 13, for example, have signed up to be the Good Samaritans and they're helping other people out. Maybe some of the rest of you are doing that as well. And you're checking in on your neighbours and you're making sure that people have the groceries that they need if they're self-isolating. There's all sorts of things that we can do to be resilient. And that's exactly what we want to hear about this week, is ways that you have been resilient. So if you're finding things tough, please let us know. But this week, also let us know what's going well. What are you proud of? What do you want to remember from this time? What have been the good things? What are the highlights? What are the bits that you think, actually, I've become a much stronger person because of this? And have a look at the challenge of the week, because we want you to share those with us over the week so that we can make a memorial in school to this strange time when we've been apart, but actually we've all been connected in very different ways. I will see you next week, and I hope you're all doing well. Take care, enjoy VE Day on Friday, and keep being resilient, because I know you are a tough group of children and teachers and parents, and we can get through this. Bye guys.